Ginger McCall, and I am the Public Records Advocate for the state of Oregon.
Okay. First of all, describe for me what that job description was when you took it, what it was supposed to be.
So I was hired to start an independent office, a brand new office here in Oregon. I provide facilitated dispute resolution and answer questions about the public records law. I also provide trainings to both government and the public on public records law. And I am the chair of the Public Records Advisory Council, which is tasked with making proposals for changes in law and policy that will improve transparency in the state of Oregon.
Now this came about after some legislation in 2018, is that right?
It did. It was the result of, I believe, the Kitzhaber scandal. There was a whole bunch of public records legislation that passed in 2017, and this was one of the reforms.
So the idea was that you were going to come out here and you were going to make it easier for like a reporter like me or an individual who had something going on with the government to be able to get those records.
Exactly. That's been my job here. I've done, I think, over 250 requests for assistance. We've trained about 2,000 people. So that has been the job.
What happened?
So when I came here, the understanding that I had was that this was an independent office, which is the understanding that the public has and that the legislature had. Unfortunately, in a series of meetings that I had with the staff of the governor's office, I was informed that in fact they were my supervisors, that it was my job to represent the governor's interests on the Public Records Advisory Council, but I was told that I wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
That seems to kind of fly in the face of what you'd be doing with public records, that you would be getting information out there and being transparent. Did you feel that way about it?
It felt like it was an affront to the transparency mission of the office, and it also made me feel like I was put in an unethical position to represent someone's interests and then not to disclose it to the council or to the public that that's what I'm doing. That I could not abide.
Now, did this come specifically from the governor or from someone else?
My meetings were with the general counsel and another staff member from the governor's office. I did have a meeting with the governor, but it wasn't specific to this topic. So from what I know, it was at least the general counsel. I can't say whether the governor knew or didn't know.
You submitted your resignation on Monday?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Disappointing to you that you felt you had to go that direction?
Yeah, it was really disappointing. I mean, I moved here from across the country. I picked up my life and I came here because I believe in this job, because I believe in this office, because I believe in its mission. And it was really disappointing to have it turn out this way. I mean, I loved this job. I loved it, and it felt deeply meaningful to me in the moments where I was able to help people, in the moments when I was going out, giving trainings, meeting with people about the public records law. I loved it.
In our story that we have on KGW.com, and I think a broadcast story that ran, we had a statement for the governor, and she was making it sound as if she didn't really realize that this had gone on. Have you had a conversation with the governor since your resignation?
I have. They invited me. I had what I would characterize as a brief but friendly meeting. She asked me what I thought could be done to remedy the situation, and I proposed a couple of reforms which are being discussed by the Public Records Advisory Council. It's my hope that that council will propose legislation and then the governor's office will support that legislation.
Did she try to get you to stay?
No.
Did you think she might?
I mean, I guess it would have felt nice, but I had no idea what would happen in that meeting.
Yeah. If you had been asked to stay, do you think you would have?
I think at this point there would be too much of a political upstream, like swimming upstream feeling as a result of this.
So the advisory council met on Friday.
It did.
And they proposed moving this out from underneath the wing of the governor to making it independent. Was that one of your suggestions, and do you like that idea?
It was, and I love that idea. The council agreed that it would create legislation that would make the office independent to the maximum extent allowed under the Oregon Constitution, including having the advocate be selected by and reporting to that council.
Mm-hmm. If you had an opportunity to talk to the next person who maybe takes this position, what would you say to them?
That's a difficult one. I would tell them to be aware of what has happened here, and I drafted a memo to my successor so that they would know broadly about the challenges of this office. But I mean, I would tell them that they serve the public. We as government employees we serve the public. And the role of this job is really to serve the public interest, to assist folks in the government in complying with the public records law, and to assist the public in knowing about the public records law and vindicating their rights under that law. So I would tell them to serve the public interest.
Was it difficult to say, you know what, I moved all this way, I thought this was going to be a great opportunity to do something good, and then have it turn out the way that it has?
It was really difficult, and it's difficult for me to leave this job because, again, I really loved this job, and it makes me sad that I won't be able to do this anymore. I mean, I loved traveling around the state and meeting folks and helping them.
Yeah. I had asked whether or not other states did something similar.
So there are other states that have offices similar to this. I believe that the legislation that created my office is similar to Connecticut's. It was modeled after that. But Indiana, Arizona, Maryland all have offices like this. I believe that they just started one up in Wyoming. And part of what I hope happens here is that this doesn't just serve as a sort of important correction to the legislation here, but it also serves as a model for other states that are thinking about creating an office like this, and a good story for why that independence is so important.
Is this something, an office like the one you came to run, is it necessary? Is it needed?
I think it is. I mean, I think that we were able to do a lot of good here. I think sometimes just having someone from the government pick up the phone and call someone else from the government and say, hey, I got a request for assistance on this public records request. Can you please look into this and tell me where it is and get it moving along? I think that actually that small step did make a big difference, and it got things moving. I think just that little bit of extra oversight.
See if there's anything else I want to get to. We've covered a lot of ground. Is there anything else you want to tell us, or you want people to know about this experience?
Just thinking about it. I mean, what I don't want to happen here is that this just fades from the news cycle and there's no reform that goes along with it. What I'm hoping for is that there is concrete legislation that comes out of the council, that the governor then gets behind that legislation and the legislature passes it in at least, hopefully, the next short session, and if not that, then the next long session.
So you have some optimism that there can be change and positive change?
I do. I'm still optimistic about that, especially since the council met on Friday, and I think that the meeting went well, and we did coalesce toward a solution toward the end of that meeting. So, and I have been really moved and made more optimistic by the amount of public concern and public engagement there has been on this topic. I mean, I've read the comments actually on the news stories. I've been on Twitter. I've gotten emails from people, and I think that the only way that we ensure that the government works for us is by continuing to pay attention and care about these kinds of good government issues and engaging with the government on them.
I think that will do it.
Okay.
Great.
Good. All right. Well, good.
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.